Yes. The DOT, of course, supports the local governments who have been affected in the regional airports with the transfer of the turboprop to Clark. They've endorsed the requests. It's pending with the DOTR. What's the NNIC? The private operator, the NNIC. I'm not certain if all the turboprops have been moved to Clark. Kasi our San Jose Airport in Antique was turboprop, but because we recently finished a new terminal building and extended the runway, that's the reason perhaps that we have not been transferred, and hopefully we will not be transferred because that makes it more expensive.
As far as I understand, 100%. Mr. President, if it's a turboprop, if it's a turboprop, it's not jet. All of it from now on, I don't know, it started when doon na po sila sa Subic. Wala na po dyan sa Terminal 2 or Terminal 4 na mga turboprop. Lahat po sila nandoon na po sa Subic. So, this is the complaint ng mga LGU. So, medyo naapektuhan yung tourism industry nila.
I think that the solution would be to extend the runways to be able to receive not just the turboprop, but the jets. Yes, I think that's a solution. And the OTR would say that what we need is a budget. So just thinking ahead, if we will delete more than 3 billion from the DPWH budget of the small tourism roads, which are in engineering districts, we can actually put it in the OTR. Again, it depends on the chair for the extension of runways where the regional airports are not able to receive planes more than turbo propellers if there is the land available. Because palaging sinasabi, propeller lang kaya kasi maikli ang runway. Bakit maikli ang runway kung may lupa naman at wala naman tao doon dahil walang pondo? Pero kung lalagyan nyo ng pondo, may panahon pa tayo sa Senate version, bakit hindi?
All right.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. With that, I support the budget of DOT and other attached agencies to it. And now, Mr. President, I yield the floor to the Majority Leader.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President, there being no other reservation for interpellation, I move to close the period of interpellation on the budget of the Department of Tourism, its attached agencies, the Office of the Secretary, Bureau, Tourism Promotions Board, Intramuros Administration, National Parks Development Committee, Philippine Commission on Sports Scuba Diving, the attached corporations, Tourism Promotions Board, Tourism Infrastructure Enterprise Zone Authority, Duty Free Philippines Corporation, Nayong Filipino Foundation, and the Philippine Retirement Authority. And the same be deemed submitted for the body's consideration.
Any objection? Hearing none, the budget of the Department of Tourism and its attached agencies are hereby deemed submitted.
Thank you very much to the Majority Leader for jump-starting the very productive questions. Thank you as well, aside from Senator Ejercito, to Senator Erwin Tulfo for this. And I'm glad that the chairman is here so that he knows the request for additional budget from the Majority Leader. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. President, I'm in suspension. Budget of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, its attached agencies, Office of the Secretary, Environment Management Bureau, Mines and Geosciences Bureau, National Mapping and Resource Information Authority, National Water Resource Board, Palawan Council for Sustainable Development Staff, and the budgetary support to government corporations, local water utilities administration, Metropolitan Water Works, and Sewerage System Regulatory Office. And recognize the sponsors, Senator Loren de Garda, and likewise interpolate Senator Erwin Tulfo.
All right, hearing no objection, the budget of the DENR and its attached agencies are in order, and Senator Loren de Garda is recognized as chairperson, and Senator Erwin Tulfo to interpolate the budget. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. The proposed appropriations for the Department of Environment and Natural Resources and its bureaus, attached agencies, attached corporations, under fiscal year 2026 General Appropriations Bill amount to 27,415,320,000 pesos. The distribution of the proposed appropriation is as follows. Office of the Secretary, 19,531,134,000. Environment Management Bureau, 3,404,856,000. Mines and Geosciences Bureau, 1,846,411,000. National Mapping and Resources Information Authority, 1,983,228,000. National Water Resources Board, 294,405,000. Palawan Council for Sustainable Development, 148,239,000. MWSS, 207,047,000. We are not allocating funds to the Local Water Utilities Administration at this time, as their 2025 appropriations remain largely intact and their project readiness must first be demonstrated. Thank you. I'm now ready to accept questions. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Abedulco, strike dice.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will the beautiful lady from Antique yield to some questions from this representation?
Answer the questions of the good gentleman from Palawan. Thank you.
Mr. President, saan po nakasilid sa DNR 2026 budget ang pagprotekta sa mga kabundukan at kagubatan? Saang item po dito, Mr. President?
Actually, forest protection, Mr. President, is lodged under different programs. One of this is the Intensified Forest Protection and Anti-Illegal Logging Program under the OSEC. This program aims to protect 8.7 million hectares of forest against forest fires, poaching, pests, and diseases. That's one. There are others under the National Greening Program, but in our committee report, we cut that because of COA issues. This is also included in the Biodiversity Management Bureau. And under the enhanced NGP, there's a Forest for Life program. The proposed budget for this program is already incorporated in the proposed fund of a DNR under Forest Development, Rehabilitation, and Maintenance. And there is a 1.3 billion budget for mapping and resource information of NAMRIA. That is what I have as of now. That's it, Mr. President.
Mr. President, how much po is the total? So do you have the figures, Mr. President? How much total ang napupunta nakalaan for the protection of a forest? Forest lang po nabanggit ng ating chairperson. I'm also waiting para doon sa mga mountains natin. The reason, Mr. President, I ask is how much are we spending protecting our mountains, protecting our forests, pero wala naman pong nangyayari. That's what I want to find out, Mr. President, na how much do they spend to protect our forests, to protect our mountains? And unfortunately, ayon po sa Haribon Foundation, there's like 9,000 hectares of forest in Sierra Madre is lost every year. And we keep on funding DNR to protect our forests, to protect our mountains from mining. Saan po nagagasta, Mr. President? And that's my question. Magkano po ang inilalaan talaga ng DNR to protect our mountains, to protect our forests, Mr. President?
You're correct, Mr. President. Let me just state on record, under the Natural Resources Enforcement and Regulatory Program, there is 1.19 billion. There's a hiring of forest protection officers, 162 million, 750,000. There's hiring, ba't ang liit? 564 forest guards, 57 million, etc. Operations against illegal environment and natural resources activities, 110,556,000. So the total for enforcement would be 1,357,340,000. Only 1.3 billion is billion.
1.3 billion, Mr. President, and I believe at this point that will not be sufficient, or I don't know kung sufficient, pero hindi talaga napupunta for protection, Mr. President. Because I have here on record na sa kabila ng bilyong-bilyong pondo na inilaan ng Kongreso para sa National Green Program noong 2024. Pero bakit 44,000 ng natural forest natin ang nawasak? If we have this funding to protect them, if we have all these resources to protect our forests, our mountains, bakit po 44,000 ng natural forest ang nawasak, Mr. President?
You're correct, Mr. President. I have my reservations about the National Greening Program, Mr. President. And I must admit, I cut a large part of it in the committee report. Give me the COA report. I have to put it on record. No, give me the COA report. Because there are gaps in the planning, implementation, and monitoring of the program. Not all of the NGP's 5 objectives have performance indicators. These objectives include poverty reduction, food security, environmental stability, biodiversity conservation, climate change mitigation and adaptation. And absent these indicators, it will be difficult to measure program milestones and success. The program was implemented in some areas without conducting proper survey, mapping, and planning. The inclusion of potential areas, even without a fully organized people's organization that would continuously manage the site. The inclusion of very far NGP sites, even though the closer ones are registering low survival rates. Low survival rate due to unsuitability of the site for planting. Absence of an established centralized database and weakness of input control and data management, which cast doubt on data accuracy and reliability insofar as actual accomplishments of partner organizations are concerned. Extension officers who were tasked to validate the performance and outputs of partners were not sufficient, thus compromising the integrity of reports on program accomplishments. I could give you more, Mr. President. That's part of the reason why this representation had to painfully delete a large portion of the National Greening Program.
Well,